Thanks for joining us for another Kids STEAM Crafternoon with the Alexander Hamilton Memorial Free Library. So my name is Miss Afton and I'm the children's librarian. And thanks for joining us today because we have a really fun and super easy double challenge for you. Now, before we get started with today's challenge, I just want to say that I hope that you checked out our challenge last week. That's right, it is a double STEAM week where we had one last week and now we have one again today. So last week we learned all about sound waves and vibrations and made our very own spoon symphony, where you can get a really cool effect by attaching a string to a spoon and tapping it with a ruler. Surprisingly, really, really neat. So we just wanted to remind you that we still have our free STEAM kits available here at the library if you'd like to try a spoon symphony. And of course, we will also have STEAM kits ready for today's project. So today's project uses jet propulsion and Newton's third law of motion. Pretty cool stuff. So today we're going to be making our own jet-propelled airplane, or in this case, since Halloween is coming, bat gliders. And we're also going to be making our own super flying paper airplanes. Now, I don't know about you, but this is nothing like a paper airplane that I've ever made. So it's pretty neat. All right, are you ready to get started? Okay, so for today's STEAM activity, you're going to need some basic supplies. First, for our main activity today, you'll need a thin plastic or paper straw. If it has a bendy side, that's fine. You'll also need a plastic pipette. Now, if you don't have a pipette, that's okay. You can also use another bigger straw as long as the small one fits inside. You'll just cut off a piece and then seal the top. So if you don't have another pipette at home, or if you don't have a pipette at home, that's okay. But we're going to use a pipette, and you'll also need a piece of oak tag. You can use a piece of construction paper or even printer paper, but we like oak tag because it's a little stiffer. So this is going to be the body of our jet-propelled bat flyer today. All right, now we're actually going to make two projects, so we'll talk about the supplies for our second ultraplane after, but for now, let's get started on our bat flyer. So we'll put our straw and pipette to the side, and our first step is to design the body of the thing that's going to fly. Now, this piece is pretty small, so you don't want your body to be huge. Any guesses why? Yeah, the bigger it is, the heavier it is too. So we recommend getting out your scissors and cutting some of this off. But first, we're going to design our body. So on this paper, you can get out your crayons or markers or pencil. It's up to you. I'm going to use some crayons. And we're going to make your design. Now, you can make an airplane, you could make a hot air balloon, you could make a flying unicorn. It's up to you what your body is going to be. I think for me, since Halloween is coming, I'm going to make mine a bat. So, make the head, then we'll do some curved lines out for the top of the wings. Have the wings, oh, well, they're going to come down. And then I'll put his little tail right here. And then I'm going to add some wing pieces. Add little feet out for him. And of course, he needs his bat ears. So I'm going to keep coloring my bat. Let's speed things up a bit. Okay, so I've got my basic bat shape. Now, is he the most anatomically correct bat? No. Is he perfectly colored and drawn? No, but that's okay. Do I like him? Yes. So that's what's important. My next step is going to be to cut out around my bat. Now, you can cut as close as you want. You don't even have to cut it out at all if you don't want to, but I recommend it because remember, we want our flyer to be as light as possible. So all of this extra white space can come off. All right, let's cut. And of course, while you're cutting, remember that it's always easier when you're cutting small stuff to turn the picture that you're holding instead of turning the hand with your scissors. So you can see I'm keeping this hand basically straight and I was turning my bat. All right, so I'm gonna recycle these paper pieces, and now I've got my flying body. Now, you can see that this shape is fairly short and wide. Any ideas why we would have made a short and wide shape instead of a tall and skinny shape? Yeah, it's time to attach this to our pipette, and then we're going to make this fly. The wider your flying body is, the more stable it's going to be going through the air. So we recommend whatever shape you draw and cut out, that you make it nice and wide. So, like I said, we're going to prepare our pipette. To do that, you're going to need some tape. All right, so this is another thing that you'll have to provide at home. Just grab any tape. It doesn't matter what kind. Here at the library, I have Scotch tapes. That's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to put my pipette on the back of my bat. Now, my pipette is really long and it has this really tiny tip. So on yours, I already went ahead and cut off the bottom. But yours might be like mine, where now a bunch extra is sticking off. If you want that extra bit, that's totally fine. If you would rather it be hidden, you can always take a pair of scissors and just cut off a little bit more. All right, so now I've got my extra plastic. I can just throw that away as well, or recycle that. And I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to tape this to the back of my flying shape. All right, now that piece of tape was a little short, so I might add one more longer piece to go over top. We're going to put it right in the back and try to make it as close to the middle and as straight as we can. Any idea why we want it to be in the middle and straight? Yeah, because when we go to make it fly, if it's off to one side, then it's going to be a lot harder to make it fly straight. So now we have our flying shape. Mine's a very friendly bat. We have our pipette, sort of like a rocket pack on the back. Your last step is going to be to take your thin straw. Remember, I said it's fine if it has a bendy piece. It's fine if it doesn't have a bendy part. But what I'm going to do is take the straight side, and now I'm going to thread that through to inside the pipette. What you'll end up with is a flying machine that now has a rocket launcher on the back. And where do you think that rocket power comes from? That's right, it comes from you. So we're gonna test this out. So today we actually have a second bonus project, which is super easy, but makes a really neat, unconventional airplane. So for that, you're going to need a longer straw. You can actually use the same straw if you don't have extra straws at home, but we like using a longer one because there's more variation in different ways you can test it. And you'll need 2 pieces of paper. Ours is oak tag. You can use construction paper, it's up to you. But one strip should be 1 inch wide and 10 inches long, and the other strip should be 1 inch wide and 5 inches long. So that means that this strip is exactly half of the longer strip. All right, you'll also need that tape again. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of tape you use. We have Scotch tape, so let's get started. All right, our first step is going to be to take our paper strips and make them into loops. To do that, I'm just going to pick up the strip and I'm just going to curl it into a circle. All right, when I have that pretty straight, I'm going to use some tape and tape the outside. And if you want to tape the inside too, you can. It's up to you. All right, I just like to tape the inside because then it's a little more stable. All right, so part 1 done. We're going to do the same thing to our small piece. Again, just fold it around to make a circle. Pinch it closed and add some tape. This might be a good part to have someone help you, especially getting the tape ready, because it is a little hard to hold the loops while you're getting the tape with your other hand. All right, part 2 done. 1 big loop, 1 small loop. There's only 1 more part to this and then we get to test it. We're going to take our 2 loops and attach 1 to each end of our straw. Now, like I said, this is where you can do some experimenting. All right, you can try making your straw as long as possible, so putting it on the very end. You can also try cutting off pieces of your straw and making your plane shorter, or leaving the end out and just attach your loop in the middle instead of at the very end. It's up to you. Tell us what you figure out as you experiment in the comments. But I'm going to do a traditional one to get started. So you can see, I'm attaching this with my straw inside. It doesn't matter where in the loop it is. We just want to give it a piece of tape overlapping the straw so that it will be held in place. If you need to use more than one piece of tape, that's fine. Now, this is the hardest part of the whole thing. When I attach my second loop, and I definitely recommend doing this with the bigger loop because it's easier to get your hand inside, we're going to attach this as well, but we want to try to make sure that they are as straightly aligned as possible. That means if I set my straw down and my first loop is sticking up, I want to do the same thing to my second loop where it's straight up and down. Ooh. Like I said, I think this is by far the hardest part of this project, just getting everything straight. So you can see that's not too bad. I've got my big loop, I've got my small loop. We can actually look through and see both of the loops. And now it's time to test. Right, first, we're going to do our Jet-Propelled Bat Glider. So for this one, I'm going to back up. Remember, what we'll do is you'll be able to use your straw, put it up to your mouth and blow. And let's see what happens. All right, so mine didn't have the longest flight ever, but this is where the really cool experimentation part comes in. So you could see that when I blew, my bat went up and then came down pretty fast. Are there different ways that you could help your glider to go farther? Maybe changing the angle that you hold the straw at, changing how hard you blow into the straw, or maybe changing the shape of your glider will help to change the distance. Try it at home, see what you figure out and share it with us. All right, now let's get our second super airplane out and let's see how far this can go. To throw it, we're going to throw it just like a dart so that our two sides are aligned. Let's see. All right, not bad. Let's try it one more time. Ready, go. Oh, a little bit farther. So again, think about what you can do to help your glider go farther. Maybe throwing harder, maybe throwing softer, maybe changing the length of the straw in the middle. There are lots of different variations you can try. So try some different things and see how it changes for you. All right, good luck, guys. Okay, so now it's time to talk about the science behind our projects today. So the one that we're going to focus on today is our jet-propelled fliers or gliders. So, like I said, our first scientific element to this is jet propulsion. So jet propulsion is really just the driving forward of a body, in this case, our glider, by using a jet with gas or fluid. In our case, we're using air. So it is air propelled. So you can think of jet propulsion sort of like if you have a balloon that you blow up and hold the mouthpiece closed. With that mouthpiece closed, all of the air is trapped inside the balloon, right? So it doesn't go anywhere. But as soon as you open your hands and open that small mouthpiece, all of the air goes, and where does the balloon go? The air goes out one side and the balloon goes the other direction. We're doing the same thing here where we're building up the air or the propulsion until it can shoot off in the opposite direction. So this actually uses Isaac Newton's third law of motion. So that says for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. In this case, you blowing air into the pipette through the straw is an action. What is the equal opposite reaction? Well, depending on how hard you blow, your glider to move off the straw. So pretty cool stuff today using jet propulsion and Isaac Newton's third law of motion. Neat. Now, my question for you is, with our second challenge today, what do you think the science behind this is? You can share your ideas with us in the comments, or you can email me your idea. And don't forget that you can find most of your supplies for both of these projects in our STEAM kit this week. So STEAM kits are available for free at the library. You can take as many as you need. We just ask that you only take what you need and leave the rest for everyone else. So the library does have some new hours. We are open Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 11 to 5, and Thursdays from 1 to 7. So you can stop in to pick up your free STEAM kits anytime during those hours. Just come to the children's room and look for the big purple table. I also want to remind you that on top of free STEAM kits, we're also offering a monthly STEAM prize. So this month, so that you can make some creepy Halloween experiments, we are giving away a free chemistry set from Ooze Labs. So to enter for that, all you have to do is share a picture or a video of you completing some of our STEAM challenges. It could be just you picking up your bag. It could be your finished project. You could even do a video of your plane flying and crashing. So it doesn't matter, just share it in the comments with us on Facebook or on Instagram, or you can email it to me at afrancis@ahmfl.org. Right, we look forward to seeing the really cool stuff that you're making at home, and we look forward to announcing a new winner at the beginning of November. All right, guys, so we hope that you enjoyed our project for this week. We made some really cool stuff. Remember, you can get your STEAM kits, and we hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.